My name is Dontaira Terrell, and thank you so much for taking your Friday to speak with me. Super excited. I've been looking forward to this all week.
Oh, thank
Yes, and I know your time is limited, so I am just going to jump right in and get started. Congratulations on the new book.
thank you.
And how did you decide that now was the right time to write Ballerinas, My Journey to Our Legacy?
I don't even know that there was a sense of like this is the time. More so that I feel like there's been enough of a collection of knowledge of our past and what we're doing now in the present in the classical ballet world that it made sense to begin to document our history and our future. I've spent the 25 years of my career, I've 25 years that I've been in ballet, 20 years as a professional with American Ballet Theatre, slowly collecting all of this information, coming into the ballet world professionally, the only Black woman at ABT for the first 10 years of my career. It was really difficult to access information about our impact as Black women, especially on the classical ballet world. And a lot of what I've learned has been through word of mouth, has been meeting other Black dancers and then hearing about people that they know about. Meeting Raven Wilkinson, who was a mentor of mine from afar, and then, in person, personally, for many years, like hearing her tell me stories about other dancers. And so it's really been this collection of stories throughout my professional career that I feel like there's enough there to start sparking interest for people to do their own research and continue adding to this list, because this book by no means is a comprehensive list of our full history. These are just 27 dancers that I've selected that have impacted me personally and that I wanted to share a bit about my journey intertwined with their journeys.
And speaking of the 27 women that you selected to feature in this book, did you receive any words of wisdom from them that you carry with you today?
Oh yes, not because of this book or preparing for this book, just because just throughout the journey, again from afar, it's been what's so beautiful, I think, in this book is having quotes from each of them, actual quotes that they have, said in public, which was also hard to find because a lot of these people haven't done public interviews and things like that and haven't been acknowledged. So it was really difficult to find, again, a lot of that history documented. But well, simply by their very presence. And that's why I think it's so important to have representation. It's so important to have this book for the next generation, for generations to come. When you see yourself reflected, and it's not just about becoming a professional ballet dancer, but when you see yourself reflected, you feel that something that seems not tangible or the impossible is possible. And that's why it's so important for us to have this documentation. But they're just simply having their presence available to me gave me so much belief and faith in what I could accomplish. But Raven Wilkinson, again, she was a very close friend of mine, and just having her support, having her show up at my performances or call me before performances and tell me that I'm not alone. She's on that stage with me. And I've always felt that I carry all these dancers with me every time I perform.
Wow, that's beautiful. And it's beautiful to have that mentorship. Um,
Yeah.
yes, definitely inspirational. And you began your ballet studies late in the game, what they consider at 13. So, what would your past self think about your present self right now in this very moment?
Oh my gosh. My past self would be blown away by the woman that can stand up in front of people and speak. I think more importantly than anything, it's not even the going on stage and performing and all of the amazing experiences I've had there, but the introverted and shy, underdeveloped girl that didn't have a lot of stability or support really, to feel confident in herself. I think that that has been one of the biggest growth for me. And I think that's why it's so important to acknowledge how the arts contribute to developing human beings, developing young people as future leaders. You know, again, it's more than just being a part of an art form and taking that and making it your career, but the tools that being a part of the arts can give you. And that's what this has done for me. That's what ballet has given me. I think it's made me a more full, just a more full human being. And I think my younger self would just be like, I can't believe you're out there speaking in front of people.
Well, actually, you brought up a good point. So just in terms of like confidence building, how did you overcome self-doubt in those times in your life?
Yeah, it's been having a support system, even if it wasn't people that were right there in front of me that I could touch, having people out there that I knew had done this before me, that I knew had overcome obstacles. That's why, again, this book, I think, is so important to have representation and to hear other people's stories that you can relate to, that a lot of people may feel that I've experienced that same thing and this person has accomplished this, or there's, I think that's why it's important to have this. And that's kind of been so much of my success, has been having people in my corner who are there to remind me of my purpose, there to remind me that I'm not in this alone. Even if I am the only Black woman in my company, there's a whole support system of sisters behind me that are going to be there when I feel that I don't have the confidence, or when I feel that it's just too much to take on. And that's really been like my superpower throughout my journey.
Yeah, and you're always on, but what does an off day with Misty Copeland look like?
Oh my gosh, I know. What are off days? I would say I'm really, still an introvert, I think, like at heart, like in my character. I'm a homebody. I like to be in bed and be in the house, or like cooking. Like I love to be at home, and I love creating in the kitchen. Like it's not nearly as physical and demanding as what I do, but it's still creative, and it's like a release for me, like a moment that's just kind of this Zen, spiritual almost connection, I think, to food and to your history and to culture and creativity. And then of course I love to travel as well. But.
Yeah. I'm trying to get on the cooking front. I'm trying to get there because it really is therapeutic. Sometimes when you just put on your music and you just get in your zone. But the end result of some of my cooking hasn't been so good. So, but it was fun.
It's about the process and learning. Like I'm literally self-taught. Like my mom did not cook at all growing up. We were just kind of left to fend for ourselves, like me and my 5 siblings, and somehow we survived. But it's kind of just, that's, I think, something that I enjoy just about in my career. Like if you don't enjoy the journey and the process and the rehearsals and the sweat and the pain, then it's just not the right path for you, because the amount of time that we're on stage actually performing and getting the praise and the flowers is very small, very small percentage compared to the training and all of the work that goes into it. And so I feel like that's how I approach so many different things in my life. And cooking is one of those, where it's like enjoying the process, creating along the way, and, trial and error.
Right. And I'm curious, with so many accolades under your belt, are there any that matter most to you? If so, which ones and why?
I used to not, what's that say? I went through a period of time when, I'd been in ABT for 15 years before I was promoted to principal dancer, which is like such a long time. That's not usual for a classical dancer to experience being promoted so late in their career. And I had gotten to a place where I felt like that title of principal dancer wasn't what I was working towards anymore. It was about, when I was on stage, what impact I had, and the representation, and being able to get the word out there to my community that they belonged in that space. that's often been exclusive and excluding of Black and brown people, in these big arts institutions. And so I went through a period of time, and I think it was also like a coping mechanism where it was like, the reason I do what I do is to be able to do these incredible roles and have these opportunities. And it wasn't about the title. And I think that's why it was so shocking when I was promoted, because it felt like I've already done all that I want to do. Like, I'm happy, I'm doing these roles and I feel fulfilled. But in time after being promoted, I think that title, it wasn't about me necessarily. It was about what that title means for the Black community and what it represents. Having principal dancer next to the name of a Black woman is a title that the Black community can carry with us and know that that's something that we can strive for and we can accomplish because I've done it. And so I would say the title of principal dancer, like that accomplishment is something that will go far beyond me.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. My niece is, she just turned 7. She knows all about you. I told her I was interviewing you. She was so excited. And then I have a 13-year-old niece who also knows about you. So it's like those generations. And then my dad, who's 60 plus. So it's like, yeah, so, of course. And you mentioned your mom earlier and your siblings. And you've been very vocal about your upbringing, specifically like living in a motel with your mother and your 5 siblings. So how would you say your upbringing helped prepare you to own your space in this world?
I am so grateful for the experiences that I had leading up until, the age of 13. I think that that's why I never quit. First of all, I think it was watching my single mother persevere, never give up, no matter the circumstances we were in. And having all of that life experience, even though I was only 13 years, entering into the ballet world didn't seem so scary. I felt like, oh, I definitely can handle this. If I can handle like, living in like Watts and seeing like a drive-by shooting, I think I can handle like being the only Black person in the room in the classical ballet world. So there was a lot of, just a lot of things that I feel like I turned around and in my mind and made it a positive thing that I feel like I had armor, but not in a way that made me shut off. I think I had this beautiful balance of protection in a way, of preparing myself for all the tough things that were going to come at me, as well as I think ballet gave me this openness and vulnerability to have that kind of balance of both sides, because you have to have those as an artist. It's so interesting. You have to be ready to take on so much like hardship, whether it's physically, injury, or dealing with just, people saying things to you or the reviews, whatever it is. You have to be ready and strong, but at the same time, to be an artist, you have to be open and vulnerable. So it's a constant balance. And I think it's the people that you have around you that allow you to, find those two things and not let one kind of outweigh the other.
Yeah, I feel like oftentimes like society has you think that you have to have this hard exterior and no softness, no gentleness to it, and that's how you succeed and that's how you continue to climb. But like I said, I love how you come from a place of abundance, finding that joy, and just like that balance. So yeah, look, more people need to say those. And as a trailblazing woman and hero to many people, how will you continue to be the hero of your own story? Uh-oh. 1 second, my internet.
Wait, I think you froze. Yeah.
Can you
She froze. Oh.
Am I good?
No.
I hear you now.
Yes, no?
Yes, I hear you.
Can you see me?
Yes, I can see you.
Okay. We're all good. Okay, we're about to like wrap up. Sorry about that. So I was saying, as a trailblazing woman and hero to many people, how will you continue to be the hero of your own story?
Oh, I think it's, everything we were just talking about. I think it's continuing to keep that balance of strength, but humanity as well. And I think that that's just important for me internally. Again, that I don't get, feel jaded, or that, what I'm doing, isn't enough. Like you haven't seen enough progress, but to see the beauty and the silver lining in so much of what I do. And that's something that I have been doing. I hope that that's something I can continue to do. And I think that it's just being aware of, again, the people I have around me and acknowledging the work that goes into it, not taking that for granted, and the small steps that we're making in the ballet world towards making it a more inclusive environment for generations to come.
Absolutely. So you would want that to be your legacy as well. Is that
Yeah.
right?
I mean, I hope that my legacy is carrying on the legacies of so many that haven't been given the platform and the space and the voice that I have. That's what I hope my legacy is. I think that's my purpose, is to be this vessel to tell the stories of so many, silenced voices throughout history.
Yes. Well, thank you again for this. This was an awesome treat. I feel like our audience is going to get so much from this conversation. I love how you're continuing to, pass the torch to those behind you, carrying on the torch from those in front of you. So thank you again for being you.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate you. And you have a great day.
It was such a pleasure. Thank you. And you look beautiful, and that room you're in is beautiful too.
Oh, thank you. See, I even upgraded for you.
Looks great. You look great.
Thank you. All right. Bye, everyone.
See you.